that time. This is the moment you've been waiting on. Once again, they back. This Just Us Show. Y'all know what to do if y'all love them. Y'all know what to do if y'all hate them. But whatever you do, let's get this line of communication open. We got some things to talk about, so let's go.
Welcome. You are now tuned in to another episode of the Just Us Show. This is Bob.
What's going on, everybody? This is Woody.
It's your boy Mike. It's Pop.
So we're back for another show again. So let's go ahead and jump into it.
Yep.
And what's on tap for today? Are we gonna go ahead and finish what we were talking about off air?
I think that's an on-air discussion that we need to jump into. I mean, we can finish up the discussion that Mike controlled last time, or we can jump into this.
I don't remember that one. I'm fresh on this one.
Well, it was the whole Trump deal, but yeah, I say we.
Oh,
jump
how
in.
black people love Trump. What we?
Yeah, we'll say that for another time.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, we can say
Let's jump into what we're talking about.
So how should we phrase this?
Where's the genesis of this conversation?
Well,
Because
Is it basically we're talking about? Well, you know what? Before
let's go just jump into the Dave Chappelle.
okay, so
abortion.
all right, so basically, Dave Chappelle has just released.
well, hold on, no spoiler alert because I
got
haven't
you.
seen
Don't
it.
worry.
I haven't seen it,
It's
but I
gonna
will be watching
all right,
tonight.
I saw the whole shit. It's called Sticks and Stones.
Okay.
It's brilliant, actually. But he made a very good point. Not good. I'm gonna take that word back because that might, before we get into it, might
It's
sound
your opinion.
horrible.
Valid.
It's
good.
a valid opinion. If a woman has a choice to get an abortion or not, shouldn't the man have the same choice to basically abandon the child or not?
And here's the deal about that. First of all, just because someone may agree with that point or laugh at that joke does not mean that they're saying that a man should just be able to abandon anything like willy nilly.
And since I'm the one laughing, I'm going to go ahead and first say that I do not agree with that comment. I just happen to laugh because I do. It's funny to me, but I'm, like we were talking about off air, I'm a product of a man who chose not to take care of the child financially or just physically.
Right, not to be there emotionally, to raise or help.
From my angle, I can see from both sides. I mean, I get the argument, but that's why I laughed earlier. So if you think I'm laughing just because I think dudes should be able to walk out on kids, that's not the case. So go ahead.
Okay.
That was my disclaimer.
Okay, I heard that. What I'm trying to get at is, I'm not saying that I agree with it wholeheartedly. I think there's a lot of ways to not have children. You got condoms, all these other things,
Right. No, and
right.
I don't think, and that's the thing. I don't think anybody should take your comments or your pro Dave Chappelle's choice words as you agree with everything he's saying. No, we're talking about stripping this we're talking about stripping his comment down to the
bare
lowest
bones.
level. No, taking no emotion.
And before I forget what I'm about to fucking say, I actually agree. So if I remember seeing like some things on social media. I watched that to keep up with the younger people because just turned 40 Sunday, so I'm getting that older crowd.
Well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday! I said
appreciate
happy birthday.
Well, my bad. I feel like happy belated birthday.
But I feel like I'm hearing women, like young girls in early 20s, 25, whatever, saying that they use the Plan B. Like the Plan B pill is their go-to. They don't care about wearing a condom. So to me, if you rely on a pill and you're fine with somebody busting in you and you want to take that, but you relying on the pill to erase those consequences, then if you do happen to get pregnant, then the dude should have the right to say, fuck it. You fucked up, I'm gone.
Right, so you're saying that it's only
Because
valid.
you were sloppy with it. If you don't take care of yourself,
like she took it with a shot of Hennessy or something like that. Like it wasn't.
you gambled with your fucking life.
In that way, yes.
You took a gamble.
So you're
you
saying
get stuck with that gamble.
So it has to be a part of where the woman's irresponsible. What I'm saying is, say you're actually with a girl, y'all best friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever, and then he's not financially stable enough to take care of a child. But the woman sees it as, I'm pro-choice. Can the man...
At the same time, you should... I hate to keep.
You're trying to say
I
a man should be beating his meat?
No, I
knuckle
don't want to
babies
keep
for
putting this
rest of
on the
his life?
woman.
No, hold on.
I don't want to keep putting this on the woman. But I'm saying if you with a guy and you see he's not financially stable, why the fuck do you want to have kids with him?
Well,
why would you put yourself in that situation?
But see,
in
that's
the
the
first
thing.
place?
I don't think most of them go out looking to have a child with a man. Most of them go out because society has told you, be free, do what you want, have sex with no condom. Because you know there's this
They
anti-condom.
still show condom commercials on
Right,
TV.
but there's an anti-condom push right now because even in the condom ads, it's always it almost feels like ain't nothing there. Well,
Let's be real,
what's better than nothing than it feeling like nothing there?
Yeah, and that's
nothing being there.
and that's their thing to get you to buy it, so you
Because
you feel like
so you can act like you're not
when
wearing
people
nothing.
think they're deprived of something, they push the limits and they try it out. So that's why you have it a lot. And then be honest, there's a lot of irresponsible people out here just having sex. Like sex nowadays is like kissing back in the 60s and the 70s. I mean, it wasn't nothing to make out with somebody, to kiss them and this and that, but you didn't quote unquote
Cherry Point Hill and all that.
right. You didn't quote unquote go all
Right.
the way until shit was getting serious. Nowadays,
But in the
it's like
70s, I'm gonna venture to say in the 70s they were doing a lot of fucking.
right. Along with
Which
like
fucked us up.
No. I'm just talking about
Yeah.
society's
Y'all
whole
yeah.
society's whole general view of
Because it was
of
free
being-
love
being
and,
with
and
somebody.
hippie shit back in the
right
60s,
with
70s.
yeah
So they
with,
was doing
with the
fucking.
potheads and stuff like that. But I'm talking about just like general society. But there was just a push to do things differently, and normal society. Like I said, it was what was accepted. You weren't accepted to sleep with anybody on the first date, or probably not even the first 10 days. You weren't expected to sleep with them, especially not the younger kids. Even though we know they were most likely doing it,
The woman
but the
wasn't expected to sleep
perception,
with nobody, but the man wanted to.
right? The perception of society
straight up.
was
The man was trying to smash.
Oh,
but
she
the-
was too.
But
She didn't want to be
because
left
societal
alone.
norms,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Society looked at you as a whore or loose if you did that. So it was pushed back. Nowadays, it's more pushed. Like if you're not having sex, then there's something wrong with you. Like because if you get around, if you have a group of people around, young people, and I'm talking about anywhere from 18 to we'll just say to 40 years old, if they're around in a setting and somebody's not having sex, people look at them like, come on, man, grow up, be an adult. Sex ain't it ain't that whole stigma what it used to be. Just like smoking weed doesn't have the same stigma that it used to, and stuff. Like people nowadays want to include everything into the society of it's not as big as what they were telling us. Don't believe the hype. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you're having a lot more sex nowadays, whether the statistics show that or not, and you probably have more people getting pregnant nowadays than you did in the past.
Well, no, that's the difference now. The infant mortality rate literally has lowered. Like, this is the first time ever. This is the lowest amount of babies being born ever in the history of the United States of America. You have less children actually having babies, right?
Statistically, right?
Statistically, and but also at the same time you have hypersexuality.
Yes.
Shown through media and all this other bullshit.
Yeah, which is why the Plan B is so big now.
Right.
Exactly. Where that's exactly. So you have a lot more contraception. Before what you have, like Tic Tacs and gum wrappers and all that. Right. Yeah. They have prophylactics. Plan
You
B,
would beat your meat before you smash like that was going
diaphragms.
Right.
And all that. You have a lot
IUDs,
more
all that.
going on, but you also have a lot of sex. And we're getting off the subject.
But a lot of the sex now is also switched from traditional to more analistic.
Yeah, ass sex is
So
we would
that's
say that's the
becoming
best
very
sex
big.
now, so.
Right, and I think
It's
that's
part of normal
and-
sex for most people. So now I would imagine that's why they're not getting pregnant as much.
I mean, if
Because
you
Because you can bust nothing in the asshole and call it a date.
right,
butt
unless
sex.
that shit drip down and then
You can
here
also
you
get
go.
a blowjob. That also is an option.
Right. That no. Now hold
You
on.
don't need to do
Let's stay on track because I know there's a difference for that, but we will
Hypersexualization,
curve off into that later. But
Right, because
That is
we're
first,
focused on the
because
butt. And
How
you
many
got-
ass implants and ass injections is? That's what it is.
It's this big focus on ass.
right, and what's the purpose of really like twerking and shit? It's to show that ass and to jiggle that ass and to pop that ass, and that's what they want people to really focus on. Because I mean, back like in the, I'd say the 80s and 90s, or maybe not even the 90s, but like the 80s and 70s, it was more like the breast and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was what they really wanted to emphasize.
And
That's why you had a lot of breast implants
which is
and shit
natural,
like that.
which is the weirdest thing, right? Because naturally, men are conditioned to love. We're naturally wired genetically.
Because you suckle from it.
Right. We think like, oh man, those some big ass titties, but in actuality, your body's saying like, man, she can have a lot of my babies and feed them well.
It's a primal instinct.
What does the asshole do? It don't produce nothing.
Right, except for waste.
But exactly. So
Exactly.
so what's the emphasis on it?
Well, it's the fact of getting as nasty as you want to be, man. If you can get as nasty as you, I mean,
It's pushing the boundaries of sex. That's what it is.
let's be real.
That's
be real.
exit, man.
Hold on,
That's
but check it
exit.
out. But check it out. Let's think about this. 2 girls, 1 cup.
Yeah.
Who don't know that phrase? Who don't know that video?
Yeah.
You know, anyone above the age of 20
Knows that shit.
have heard of that shit. Why? Because the shit was so fucking disgusting that it went viral before it was
Before shit went viral.
Yeah.
And it was just because it was the worst shit
Even
most
though
people had
shit
ever
went viral
seen.
because it was shit in the cup.
Right.
You know, but that was like pushing the edge of grotesqueness. But
And it looked like soft serve too. Like
it
it was
did.
like
Even though you knew what it was, you had to look.
right, and I don't think.
Someone can tell you what the shit's about, but you would get disgusted.
No,
as fuck.
right,
But I
You
don't
look.
right, and I don't think a lot of people said I want to try that shit.
Right.
But if you talk about ass sex, motherfuckers line up to do that shit. You know, because that's the epitome of nastiness that you don't really have to
That's
push
the-
it too
the
far.
top freak shit.
Right, without going over the line. You still in that? Yeah, I'm not there yet. You know what I'm saying?
no. Ass sex not
You can have sex with a chick in the ass and be considered okay, but even though I've learned a lot of porn stars, a lot of male porn stars, a lot of gay ones only do anal sex with women because that's what they're used to with men.
Right.
So are you?
And I'm not saying this. I'm not saying it's the epitome of nasties, Mike. I'm saying the act of it. If you fuck someone in the ass as a male, you know this bitch will do anything for you because you've brought her to the nastiest of the nasty. You know what I'm saying?
Is it the nasty of the nasty?
Mike,
if she
think about it.
if head follows, then yes.
That's the nasty of that. Yeah, fellatio
But
is
it's not. But that's
the,
not considered as nasty as that
See,
shit.
that's
no
what I'm
more.
saying. I just
it's
don't-
not considered as nasty as ass sex. No
Once
more.
I even get the whiff, you know what I'm saying, of doodle during this act, I can't. I'm not gonna finish. This is not gonna happen. You understand what I'm saying? So, okay.
But I've also done research, and certain chicks that I've heard talk about it, they prep themselves, which means they have like an enema,
Yeah, they clean that shit out,
flush it all
yeah.
out, and
Bleaching
get it clean
assholes.
Yo, you can't prepare asshole, bro. I don't care how much you clean that. It's
Mike,
still
I
an
understand.
asshole.
I understand what
Look,
I
I'm
understand
not-
your feeling on it.
if
But
a-
can we not get hung up on?
Okay,
this
well,
one
yeah,
part of
right,
the
right.
conversation?
Right, right.
We were talking about ass sex
Because
for 5
because
minutes.
because think
No,
about it.
because y'all
Is there-
was talking about it
is
like
there
it
more-
was like
is there
some
more-
part
but
of
I'm
that.
talking about, Mike. Is there more bacteria in the asshole or the vagina? Which one has more? Or the mouth? Which one has the most bacteria, Mike? You see what I'm saying? The ones that probably accepted the most probably has the
It's
least.
probably the hole where you're pressing out decomposed hamburgers.
That's
and
not.
Snickers.
That's not worse than your mouth. That's not worse than the mouth, Mike.
I don't believe that shit. Now, no, wait,
Okay,
all
that's
right.
cool.
Right, all right. Let's get okay. Now we were talking about should a man have that option?
Right.
This is
I'm
double
glad
back.
you. I'm glad you store us back.
Does the man have an option to bounce if she chooses to have the child?
Strictly speaking, just topic to topic.
And what we can actually, and that's part of what we were just saying. Men are, let's be real, men are naturally just horny. Women are too. But
Right, people-
through religion
people are
and
naturally
stigma,
horny.
the stigma of a woman being called a hoe,
You have to be.
and the Bible, it's a lot of us are Christian telling them that, you know, you can't just be giving out your box to anybody, right? But the man doesn't have that stigma to him. Like you were saying earlier, double standard.
Well, but you know what? But the crazy part about that with the religion, real quick, just a sidebar, real quick on that. Like you said, yes, you shouldn't give out your box to anybody, but most religion show as a woman as almost a property of a male, meaning whenever the male is ready for sex, it's not her choice, it's his choice. So in that case, I guess, okay, after you've married somebody or you're with them in a relationship under God or whatever you want to call it, then it's okay for the male to take it whenever he wants.
right.
That's the way the religion kind of skews for most of it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not tied down to anybody, then you shouldn't be freely opening your box. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
right. That's part of
If you
it.
don't have the business license, you shouldn't open up the shop.
Right, but there's nothing stopping men, restraining us from actually showing our sexuality, right?
Right. I mean,
So what's crazy about all this is that you have a society that's hypersexual,
yeah.
women, if you talk to most women, they'll say men. This is a phrase I've heard many times. Men will put their penis in anything.
Yeah.
So if
It's
you
fairly true.
exactly,
Yeah, it is.
right. Let's be real.
This,
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's be,
because as speaking honestly, which I'm not going to front on the show. There's not too much that. There's not too many of the opposite sex that I haven't thought about. I can
that's
almost
being real.
find something in all of them.
Exactly. That's
Almost.
legit. That's real.
right. So okay. So with that being said, though, it's like, wait a minute. If the man, you already know a man's wired like this,
Right.
and you're allowing him to have his way with you, and he has a baby, and he's like, wait a minute, like you already know that I'm hypersexual.
So you're saying it's her fault? Like that's what we going back
Hold
to.
on, that's not what I'm saying.
Choose wisely who you wanna have a
allow
child with.
smashing with. So because truth of the matter is, all of a sudden now you got more brothers in prison than ever before for non-payment of child support. You now have a child that's actually conditioned through TV and media, who now can use the idea. You didn't use it, like I was saying before, but a lot of them will use the fact that I don't have to do shit because I ain't have a father to teach me how to do shit. So you have less of those people around. So if you already know men are conditioned to give, I think it should be fair that a man should have a choice.
Well, but
this way
but-
it
but-
stops the woman. It deters the woman
So, okay,
from
you-
allowing
yeah.
anybody to
No,
smash.
But
Makes them
Mike,
more careful
but Mike,
about
Right.
but that's not.
But that's not gonna happen.
If no, you know what? If that was how, if it was that cut and dry, then you would have a point. But here's the fact that you're not bringing up. When it comes to doing anything, and there's a consequence from it, there has to be repercussion. Period. People need to see repercussion, whether it's the person that's doing it or the bystanders. And what I mean is this: if an irresponsible female has sex with an irresponsible male, and they have and together they create a child.
Repercussion is a child.
No. That's not the repercussion. Not necessarily.
Or
The
dealing with each other?
the repercussion for the woman is a being living inside of them for 9 months ish, and then the way her body will change regardless, and it will. I don't want to say it will wreck her body, but it will change her body forever from that point on. Whereas a male can have thousands of babies and not change a single thing. So what I'm saying is, if they look at it as, well, the woman had to carry the child, even if she gives it up for adoption, she had to carry the child. She had to care for
Right.
this child. Her body changed with this child. She had
Stretch
to protect
marks,
this
Terry.
child and everything else.
Cocoa butter.
That's her repercussion right there. That's how she had to pay the price. So the male has to pay the price.
But
hold on, because 18 years equals 9 months of pregnancy to the masses. That's what I'm trying to say. Not necessarily for me, but to the masses, that's what it equals.
She does have a choice. What I'm saying,
Mike, I understand that, but what repercussions does a man have after he implants a woman with a
Child
baby?
support.
yeah, child support.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So there is no choice. Her choice. Her choice. She had the baby. She's carrying the baby. It's wrecking her body. Whether she gives the baby up after that 9 months or not, after that gestation
Wrecking the
period.
body is subjective.
No, it's legit, Mike. It's real.
How's it wrecking
It
the body?
changes your body. It will change your body forever as a woman.
It gets more voluptuous. Everything gets softer. Ass
Ergo,
gets fatter.
ergo, change.
Okay, but not bad change. That's
Ergo,
subject-
change. It
Okay.
doesn't matter if
Anyway,
it's bad or not.
It's
check.
the fact of being the hormone.
I see what you're saying. I see what
the
you're
saying. Now-
sickness, the
right.
being thrown up and all that.
Now, if a male had to go through the same sickness and if a male had to carry the baby, this wouldn't be an issue. I mean, be honest, this wouldn't be an issue. If you or just say they had to somehow, I don't know how the hell this worked, but somehow they had to share this motherfucker. I don't know. They had to be tied together for 9 months. Then there would be no one would care after that shit, because it's like, man, you
But
did
as-
your time, she did her
As a
time.
man, you should be cautious about who you knock down.
Exactly, you
Because
should.
you don't know if the bitch is crazy.
When
you stuck with that for 18
All that shit is facts.
Well, okay. And look, I'm gonna bring this up. In Muslim countries, Muslim-dominated countries, you know why women wear those hijabs and that's actually to hide their feminine features from men. So their natural
From men
sex-
that's not their husband or whatever.
well,
or
not
their
just
family.
that though. They
Their
they
family.
no, they wear it even at, not even just husbands. I mean, they wear it at a very young age. This is so men can focus on life and providing rather than sex all the time. That's why they wear that. Now, when you come here, you got everybody. Every chick you gonna meet is wearing booty cut shorts, tight pants, pushing their feminine features upon men.
Right,
So
and these are
you're-
features that are reinforced by society.
Then you're looking
You know
at
what? I've
TV.
seen women with her G's on, and I'm like, I'm wondering what the hell's underneath it. Like, I guess for some people, a face can do a lot for you.
Exactly. For me, what you're saying?
Yeah, why do you think there's
Like-
such a hype around Christmas? I mean, it's the package. It's not knowing what you're gonna get. That's the buzz of it. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think that's American way style.
Maybe,
man.
but
'Cause-
everybody likes a surprise.
Right.
Everyone likes a surprise, Mike. Everyone likes a surprise.
Have you ever opened one of them packages and saw socks?
It don't. It doesn't matter.
It can be socks,
Right, and it messed you up because what? You were expecting something better. You just proved my point.
Right,
again.
right. But then eventually, if you can't unwrap it, if someone's like, "Hey, you cannot unwrap it," it's going to the marginal utility, diminishing utility. It's just,
okay.
the idea of it
It's like
is just going to slide away.
A bottle of wine, you gotta let the shit age. Or
Right,
whatever.
right, right.
You can't open it because you open it, you're gonna fuck it up.
Exactly. So it's like, okay, so you can't. That's what I'm saying is here you have women walking around, and I'm not blaming it on women. What I'm saying is a lot of women are basing their idea of how they should be or how they should dress on media stars who have their titties out, ass out, Instagram. So you think about, you got a man walking around thinking about sex. Before, without all this, they used to say,
Oh, it's everywhere.
right, they would say it was like a man thinks about sex, I think it's every 14 seconds to some degree. That was before.
Every 14 seconds, I think about
That's
sex
before
14
you
times.
had the. But that's before you had the rewind porn tapes. You understand what I'm saying?
Right,
Now
right.
you have it
Smartphone.
in your palm.
It's instantaneous, right?
Exactly. You have chicks like literally plumping their lips, getting fat ass. Like you have all these things that's
All
focusing
facts.
on sex.
You, like OnlyFans, you can fucking two-way a chick on the fucking phone. And
Exactly.
it's porn in your hand, and you actually are communicating with this chick that's nowhere near you.
So
Let's
what
not
I'm-
incriminate
right,
ourselves.
I wouldn't pay for it because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not subscribing to shit.
Okay, okay.
It's free.
I don't know what any of that is, but we'll
Yeah.
move on. We'll move on.
But what I'm saying is, if you have a society with a bunch of hypersexualized males, and then you're looking around like, and you basically, and women know this, you can't go. That's just so crazy. I walk to you, titties out, fat ass out, and I'm saying, hey, you can have this. And a guy's like, oh, you think a guy's thinking right then and there, like, hey, what about my taxes? Like, what about my tax? What about this child? You're thinking automatic. I'm not saying the responsibility falls on the woman, but you can't just assume a man is going to think this way when you already know yourself that men are sexual beings. Period. You already know that, and there's nothing restraining us. There's no stigma of us being called a hoe. There's no part of the Bible that basically King James had many wives. Like, there's nothing in that. Women have those fucking governors. We don't have that shit on our body to say like.
Yeah, we don't have restrictions. Exactly.
So you can't. What I'm saying is, it should be some type of legislation, in a way, to where, hey, if you choose to keep the baby, the man should have a choice of like saying, because if you're saying I'm pro-choice and I think I should do anything you want with your body, okay, but if I don't have a choice in this person that we both created, then I should have the option to walk away.
Right, but Mike, once again, you're still neglecting
I'm not
the
saying-
punishment.
Well, how's pregnancy a punishment though?
It's
Mike, would you
Because
want to carry a baby for 9 months?
no.
Hold
Listen.
on.
Now listen,
See,
hold on.
I
Mike,
just had this
Mike, hold
conversation.
on.
You wanna spit a
I'm
baby
not
out the
saying.
I don't give a fuck who gets mad about
Would you
this
shoot a
topic.
baby
No,
out?
no. Listen, I'm not
Let
saying
me
it's a
something.
punishment.
I think that is way fucking overblown.
Okay, well, listen. Here's the deal. I'm not here to go to argue if pregnancy is a punishment or not, because there's some women that love being pregnant and some women that hate being pregnant. I'm not discussing
I've
that.
watched 3 pregnancies.
But what I'm
They're shitty.
saying, right? But what I'm saying is,
Right, I've seen the aftermath.
what I'm
It's
saying is
also
the
very-
perception.
with them.
I'm just saying the perception
Nah.
of a pregnancy, Mike, is a punishment to a female, especially if it's a young woman who's got, like they always say, got her whole life ahead of her, and then she messed with the wrong dude, and bam, now she's pregnant. Now he's gone, and she's
But the
sitting here,
reward-
quote unquote, stuck with the baby.
But the rewards are so high, though.
Mike, I'm not disagreeing with you.
What I'm saying is,
I'm talking about the perception
If I
is the male
use-
has to,
Right.
he has to pay just like she paid.
if I let me say,
How does a male pay just like she paid without paying in cash?
okay,
Answer that.
but you're saying
No,
based
no,
on-
no. Answer that. That's all. That's all I'm
The
saying.
male's plan. What I'm saying is, she don't have to pay either. She has the choice to say, I want to get rid of this birth.
Right, and if she gets rid of the birth, that still affects her body.
To some, you're right.
Once you start, that's like putting toothpaste back
Let me ask you a question.
in the tube.
Have you ever
once
heard-
it comes out, it's out.
Growing up, let me ask you which hurt more, yo daddy jokes or yo mama jokes?
Your mama jokes.
All right.
Your mama
when
jokes.
When you see a brother on some platform and he just wins an award, first person he
Thanks
thanks.
his mom.
His mom, right?
Do they say the term mama's boy
Yeah.
or daddy's boy?
Mama's boy. Daddy's girl.
Daddy's boy don't sound right.
It don't even sound right.
That don't sound right.
That sounds like
That
some
sound like,
gambler
yeah,
shit, like some
yeah,
that-
yeah.
What I'm saying
That's like some
is,
hidden pre-shit.
you're saying like there's this thing a woman has to pay when she has a birth. I understand that, but there's also a connection that no father can have with another person that a mother can have with her children. Now, what I'm saying is like, yes, there is that 9 months where she's carrying and it's shitty, but when you hear a woman talk about the birth itself and the baby itself and how the child grows up looking at the mother for everything, praises the mother, I think 18 years and 9 months kind of like evens that shit the fuck out. That's what I'm saying.
Like that, and that's what I'm saying. You're proving that point.
The
So if
dad-
the woman has to carry this baby for 9 months or however long it is,
You get a slave for 18 years. Have you seen LeBron James?
Mike.
That man is living for his mama, bro. Like this is what I'm trying to
Mike,
say.
I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying.
How many LeBron Jameses are out there though?
How many emotional
How many-
niggas have you met that's like, hey man, yo, that's my when they
Mike,
when
you're
they looking
missing
at
the
their
point,
wife,
man.
they mama like their actual wife. How many brothers have you met when you've heard a brother who looks at their mama almost without the sex, but actual wife? As I go on the block and sling dope to make sure my mama's all right. Like this shit is a natural thing. What I'm saying, what you're not seeing, I can tell by your
Well, nowadays
condescending
it seems like
face.
that's no. It seems like nowadays that's kind of skewed to I got to do this to take care of my kids. You know, so
Right.
that happens too.
Right,
nowadays.
what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that there is a physical burden that's put on the woman that the man does not have to endure.
Right. So once again, where is his quote unquote punishment for being irresponsible?
But you're saying pregnancy is a punishment. I'm saying it's
No,
not.
Mike,
It's a
I'm-
gift
I'm saying,
to a woman. It is. It's
and
a gift.
and a man
It
has to
can
give
be a gift.
18 years of gift
Yeah,
to his
hold
child.
on. And let me ask you.
That's what society says.
Who
Mike, I'm not
here,
saying it.
we all grew up with our mamas.
Yeah.
Anybody remember like your mama laying on the couch, watching TV on her day off? Remote's 2 feet away from her, and she call, "Hey, Mike, come in here and pick up this remote." And you just gladly like, "Here you go, Mom." Yo, man, I'm not. Look what I'm saying. There is a time period where I can see what you're saying. It looks physically uncomfortable. The financial situation can be fucked up. But you have people there. You now have a person that is forever connected to you as mama. Dear Mama was a boy's. Have you heard of Dear? Did they do a Dear Daddy remix?
Nah.
No, okay.
We
Mike-
all know
Mike,
that fathers get shitted on.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
understand.
known fact.
I understand what you're saying, but my question to you
I
is,
understand. What's the man's punishment? The man's punishment?
yeah, what is the
Bill Cosby said this ill. I hate to bring this man's name up while we talking about pussy and all that. But Bill Cosby
Wow,
said
that's
it ill.
exactly what
He
you
had
should bring it up.
He was like, you know, you're playing with your son, you're knocking him down, you're teaching him how to play football, and then he gets to college and he makes his first touchdown.
Yeah, and
You've done everything with him. You taught him the calisthenics,
he's
the
not gonna thank
regimen.
you.
But
He
Mike,
looked straight in the camera and
teaching-
said, "Thank you, Mama."
right, but teaching someone and feeding and nurturing totally different levels
After
to
the
most
age
people.
of 2, unless that baby's
no,
still titty
total
eating,
different,
like,
total different levels to most people.
right.
You know, like people look at if someone feeds you, if someone nurtures you,
Right,
if
right.
someone
Oh,
cares
and
for you,
what I'm saying is,
if someone teaches you how to be a gentleman or polite or whatever, people look at that more as bigger than financial
being a man, knowing how to defend yourself,
right, you know, that's
hunting for food, which gives you substance to
Mike,
eat.
Look,
Man,
you're
I'd rather
talking-
have a steak than a hug, man. If I'm hungry, bro, I'm gonna need some food before I need a hug. Right.
I understand, Mike. I'm not trying to degrade your point. I'm telling you, perception, society. The reason why that's it, and the reason why that will never happen, is because there needs to be a punishment for the male.
But it also, if it does happen, it actually teaches women to, hey, you need to be focused on who you're allowing to basically impregnate you.
They should already be
But it
focusing
already
on
happens.
that. Yeah.
There's already dudes running off and choosing to say fuck this, it ain't mine, and go.
Right.
So
Right.
It already happens, but they still end up getting pregnant,
And a lot of them will actually literally
and they'll
return.
get pregnant again.
And a lot of them, what I'm saying is, when a lot of them will actually, it's based on, I'm going to get him for this child support, and he don't, he's going to jail. So basically, you still stuck. I don't give a fuck what you say. You're still stuck in that predicament. So what I'm saying is, if a woman already knows that, you're going to be thinking deeper than a rap video or a good night out on the town where you see another brother, he's dressed fly, you look good, and then y'all basically consummate, have a baby, then both of y'all like, it was just one night.
Right.
We
But
were
check-
having fun and
Okay.
trying to live through a music video,
Yeah.
rather than a woman saying like, look, I like you, you're attractive, but we need to talk a lot
But-
more before I
and
just give
let's-
you the box.
Okay, but that we already know that one night stands happen,
Yeah, they do.
and there's a lot of babies that come from one night stands.
Yeah, they are.
How often during the one night stand is a phone number or a true name exchanged?
That's
Right.
a great point.
So I'm sure there's a lot of dudes that
But
smashed
think-
and got
right,
the fuck up out of there
but
and never to be seen again.
Think of a woman's idea of, you don't even know this dude, you allow him to bust, and you just like, well, I hope I get pregnant. That doesn't even make sense, bro.
Okay, Mike.
That's not
Mike, I hear everything you're saying. Let me ask
Who
you.
said
Let me
he
let me
hopes
just
he's
let me just ask you this question.
what.
You lost me. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is, you're saying there's the one night stands.
Yeah.
A lot of dudes can have
Right,
sex
right.
and bounce.
No, and that chick's not hoping that she gets pregnant during this
Right.
exchange. Neither is the guy.
Right, but you also have contraceptives
But
like
there's
Plan
no
B.
exactly. But
You
there's
have-
no way for her to go after him. So there's no punishment for him in essence, because she
Right,
has
and
no,
now
no
she has to,
contact.
and you're talking about even to the lows where she has to pay $40 for the Plan B pill now.
I'm talking about there is an instance where there is no consequences for the man. He basically chooses to walk away because he does not know
Right.
about the baby.
Right,
She has no way of getting a hold of him.
right.
So therefore, he never suffers a day in his life because he does not know.
Right.
So he's free to go.
Right.
I feel like what you're getting at is people who are constantly fucking with each other on a regular basis.
Right, but even those situations, the woman still has you still have the choice of terminating that pregnancy. You still do. If you choose to have the baby, then it's like, in my mind, it's
Right.
like, why would you even choose if you don't even know the father is?
Okay, Mike. So here's my
If
question.
it wasn't rape or something that drastic,
Cool.
why would you even want to have a baby knowing that?
I get all that.
But
So
I'm
what?
seeing that instance where
I see what you're saying, but there's options to where that's like that night never even happened.
So what happens in the case where the woman, like they had this baby, or she gets pregnant, she carries the baby for 9 months, and then the day of the baby comes out, the birth, the dad says, or the father says, "Hey, I want to take the baby from here on out." What happens then? The female pays. If the male is the sole proprietor, the female pays for the male who stays and takes care of the baby and raises the baby, right?
Right.
So basically what it is since he's choosing to be at home and take care of this kid, society's role on her is now you have to pay. Because either way, society wants two people to be responsible for one person because two people created one person. It don't matter who it is, society wants two people for one. Because
How it was
society
built
doesn't
up.
want to
Right.
take all of society to take care of your irresponsibility. You see what I'm saying?
Right. No, I understand what you're saying, but y'all ain't listening to what I'm saying. New subject, because I don't think we're going to get past
We're
this.
probably not, because I'm not following you, man.
Oh, you following me?
I'm not.
Like I said, I can see it, but then it's really.
What I'm saying is, I'm not saying it's already happened, but I'm saying if something was implemented to that degree now, you would have a lot of people thinking twice. You would have to have, because if you
What
already
you're
think,
saying is that if there was no consequence and like a dude had a choice to freely, without penalty, walk away, then that woman would be smarter about how she chooses to engage in sexual activities. What you're saying?
boom,
Although, yeah, that's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I don't know how that don't make sense.
Wrap that up. Next time.
Yeah, you know what?
Mike,
like
we
I
went a
said,
long way around the block just to cross the street.
No, man. Y'all wasn't feeling me. Y'all was giving me all these bizarro
No, we was
land.
just asking.
Nah, I ain't trying to hear all that, man. Y'all was, what about the dad doing this? What about the dad? I'm just saying,
Mike, you
bro.
brought up Bill Cosby. I'm just saying that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like I said,
Hey,
you
man,
went a long way
rewind
around just across
later
the street.
on. You let it soak in. It's gonna all make sense.
Cool. Okay.
What you said makes sense. I kind of said that a long time ago. We already
Right,
got that
yeah,
point.
we did. We both agreed in the very
This whole
beginning.
conversation just like between ass fucking and shit is going off out. Yeah, yeah. We went all kinds of fucking loops and
Yeah,
turns to
we
get
did,
to
we did.
And I stayed on
a
point.
point that we
That was
originally
you.
reached in the first
That was
5 minutes.
y'all.
Okay, if you say so.
Hershey highways and all that. Like, no, son. No, I stayed on point.
So, okay, next topic. I think what we were talking about, transgender men trying to,
Yeah.
wanting to be women or
Right. And what was the
And how they're accepted more
among women
over, just
straight men.
right.
because there's no I think in a way there's no threat there.
What do you mean?
Well, it's like
There's no sexual threat.
it's not a sexual threat.
Just like gay men always hang out with women, and gay men can either hang out with women while they're changing clothes.
I've seen-
You seen movies about that shit, where
Right.
the dude has to act gay to be next to the girl, and she's comfortable taking her clothes off as long as she thinks he's gay.
Yeah, the threat has. I mean, but then the transgender part. You're saying that I think in a way I don't think women are really accepting transgenders to that degree.
Okay.
I don't the way you're thinking about. I think in a way I think they kind of still seem as gay. You're a woman. You just happen to look like a woman. You want to have the characteristics of a woman, but at the same time you're still like men. So you're still a gay person. So it falls into that same category.
I mean, I can understand that, and I can also understand the fact that a woman someone who's born a woman, can look at a male who's transgender and change his physical features to be a woman. You still can never get pregnant. You can still never carry a baby. So you're still never gonna really be my competition.
Threatened. But maybe it's more that they empathize with.
I don't.
With like a woman.
Like they want to, like they see that they look at them as one of their own. How many?
But why don't they
How many
do that
black
with
dudes
other
you know
women though?
have that one white dude that's like, that's my nigga. That,
Yeah.
Right.
and that motherfucker, he portrays the black or the the urban characteristics.
Right.
Is he? But yet he's accepted amongst the black community
Because he's actually
because he's embodying what
the
is,
characteristics of it.
Therefore, that transgender male is embodying the characteristics of a woman, and she's
Mannerisms.
taking them in as okay, you one of us, kind of.
Based on
But yet
mannerisms.
that white dude still can't call you a nigga, but he's still cool as fuck. though.
That's scary as hell because when you think about it, is a woman and man the only thing that separates us is literally mannerisms and characteristics outside of genetics. I'm sorry, yeah.
No, I mean, women and men are physically different.
So let me ask you a question.
Women can carry a baby, and a man.
Do
can't.
you consider a transgender woman to be a woman?
No, I consider it to be a man. And the reason why I say that is because just like I'm sure you're gonna agree. You don't understand, but you're gonna agree. No matter what this transgender woman looks like, Mike, you would never date, have any sexual contact with a transgender woman, knowing she's a transgender woman. You never will.
Well, it's because I prefer vagina.
Even if she has a vagina, you never will because she
Like
was
the-
born a man.
Like the chick from Orange is the New Black that's now doing regular shit. The black dude that's now Laverne.
Yeah, Laverne, yeah.
Like she was in the that might as well call her girl. The Black Lady sketch show. Have you seen that on
No.
HBO?
I know what you're talking about.
This
With,
bad bitch convention or bad bitch meeting or like a triple like Alcoholics Anonymous type of shit where you go to get help for being a bad bitch type shit. And Laverne was in that with 4 other women,
Real women, right.
And they were
Let me tell you something.
going pinging them back, and nobody even thought that hey,
No.
this used to be a man.
They thought. I'm telling you that right now. That is some bullshit.
well,
When you
that's
see
part,
a
that's part of
person,
the comedy stick is
that
she
shit
used
is
to
only
be a
going to
woman,
go
or a
so
man.
far.
I agree.
Like, yeah, it's with. Yeah, the Laverne shit. What you just said. I don't think black women actually accept, like, to that degree. I think it's more like it's almost like it's a moment. Like, I can show that I'm cool but let that woman that used to be a man try to hit on somebody that they like physically. It's going down, bro. Like, it's
Well,
just,
it won't even have to go down because the woman is going to say, "Hey,
That's
she used to be a man.
And that's what
she
I'm
was
saying.
born a man.
I think the only reason it's accepted to this degree is due to the fact we have this liberal type of society where it's like, is you got a bunch of people when we were just talking about like people coming across the border, and I was just like, yo, man, people ain't really thinking about the consequences behind allowing illegal immigrants just to come over as refugees and then using our tax dollars to take care of them. What I'm saying is, you don't see the consequences immediately.
Wait,
But
hold-
it
hold-
sounds
hold
nice
on.
to say.
Hold on, Mike. Wait.
So what's the consequence?
Yeah, what tax? What tax? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, because I'm gonna jump it. I don't want to jump into that.
Kinda
What's
missed.
up with the transgender?
Did I though?
What's up
Or
with
you
transgender?
ain't listening.
Well, run it back. Run it back.
Okay. What I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, at the time, I'm not saying they're gonna blow up like some IED, like they don't see
Is
it
there gonna be an
later.
influx of transgender women, or
Well, no, I think we're not actually addressing why that's here. Okay,
why they're transgender?
right. Rather than understanding why that, because truth of the matter is,
Are you saying it's a psychological condition?
well, yeah, they literally had it. They took it out of their DSM, but it was called gender dysphoria at one point in time.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
Right, and that was an actual because due to people that thought they were different sex, they actually removed that. And I'm not. What I'm saying is, with that type of idea, and what I'm saying is it's accepted. You may have an influx of people that think it's something that's more rather than this person. I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm saying that you may have kids that may look up to this, boys, or see this, and think that maybe that's the way I need to go. But because what I'm saying is due to the fact that we all at one point in time have to fit into our gender roles. Naturally. If we're coming across men, we look like a man, we start following what this man is doing. But if I'm a man or a little boy with no guidance, and I'm looking at somebody like this person, it doesn't give me a fair shot into actually accepting a gender role that I would naturally take if there's an influx of people that are able to express themselves and say that this is normal. Like gender dysphoria is now it's a normal thing. I'm not saying that, I mean, look, by society standards, by just genetics, men and women come together, create babies. But we do have those instances where it's not the norm. I'm not saying that they're bad. See, that's the ill part, man, with this whole shit. I'm trying to get there being politically correct without
Well,
offending.
Just speak whatever the
Because
truth
the
is.
truth of the matter is, I'm not saying these. I mean, okay. What I'm saying is, the suicide rate of transgenders. I'm gonna break it down like
That's
this.
some real shit. But
Is the same rate as black slaves during slavery in America. A lot of slaves were committing suicide at a very high rate. Now, are transgenders subjected to the same abuses that slaves are?
Now hold on. When you say stuff like that, when you say stuff like the
You ain't
slaves
hearing me,
committing
though.
suicide and stuff, I'm not so sure I take that as 100%.
Oh, you can look it up.
Well, I'm sure you can, but how many slaves were murdered that was considered a suicide? Mike?
I don't think back then they had detectives caring about slaves.
Okay,
and property.
so who got the
those
numbers?
suicides could have been murdered.
So who got the numbers, Mike?
Right, but then
No. Answer that
recorded it?
question.
Hold on. Let me finish.
The recording had to come from.
Right, a white
Right.
person. Right, but think about this.
So if they recorded as
Did
a
you
suicide,
think that these people that were recording these murder suicides thought of black people as being items when they were recording these murder suicides? Like, what would be the purpose of me covering up a murder if it's legal for me to kill my slave?
Exactly.
It's property, so there's no reason for
so
me
you're
to
saying
cover
there's
up
a
these
high
numbers.
suicide rate,
in the
but
during
it
the,
could have been a high murder rate.
what I'm
That
saying
we
is,
want to look now and say no, that was
Wait,
suicide.
right.
We-
But
they
what
was killing themselves.
what would be the purpose of somebody covering up a murder back then of a slave when they were considered
There's
property?
no purpose. What's the purpose of someone drudging it up and saying, "Oh, look how many slaves killed themselves"?
Well, wait,
Same
okay,
shit.
wait.
It's the
Hey
cause
man,
hysteria.
wait, hold on.
It's the cause
Wait,
hysteria.
no, listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the suicide rate with transgenders is at it's higher than any other group in America.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
Hands
That's legit.
And they actually compared that numbers, the
To a
percentage.
fictitious number of slaves being killed.
Okay, just for this exercise, let's just say it's real.
Okay.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, just think about that. in that situation, you had black people that was stripped of clothing, food, dignity, masculinity, femininity, being a person altogether.
Okay.
And then you have somebody that is just transgender. They don't have to deal with that. They don't have to deal with whips to the back, your kids being killed in front of you, your wife being raped.
Right.
There's something got to be wrong in this situation if the same rate of suicide with slaves and transgender exists. So what I'm saying is it's not actually normal to some degree. Like there's something that we don't want to talk about and it's being normalized.
Right, but here's my question to you. Suicide comes from what?
Depression.
Okay, why?
Maybe not feeling like you're part of the society around.
Right. So basically, when you have something to lose, you feel like you've lost something, then you commit suicide. Slaves, on the other hand, from the time they were young, were told that they weren't shit. Grew up knowing they weren't shit. They didn't lose anything. They were lost from the beginning.
Right.
Slaves aren't going to commit suicide, just like slaves aren't going to uprise because there's in their mind. It's just like
that they're supposed to be.
Right, Mike. It's just like this. Check it out. Just say Vaughn. Just say Vaughn goes outside and flies. Right. Just say he goes outside. Listen, follow me here.
Normalize.
Vaughn goes outside and flies and figures out, motherfucker, I can fly. I've been able to fly my whole fucking life, but I never knew this shit.
Yeah.
And then you go out and say, how's this motherfucker flying? And then you fly. And then I go and say, both these motherfuckers are flying, and I fly, right? If you never knew that you could fly, you would never try to fly. But then once you get the realization, you'd be like, oh shit, how many other motherfuckers can fly? That's what I mean about the slave mentality. If you never thought you were shit, and everyone around you never thought you were shit, you're not all of a sudden one day gonna realize that you were actually something, and you had something to lose. So you commit suicide because your life is not equal or worth living.
To the people that actually are enslaving you. What I'm saying,
to anybody.
Right. What I'm saying is, during that time, let's just pretend this is real. During that time, there was a high rate of slaves killing themselves.
We'll pretend that's real.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, right? And the rate of transgenders killing themselves is higher than any other group.
Mike, if you're gonna tell me that transgenders killing themselves is the same rate as slaves being killed, that I can buy it. But I can't buy no suicide of slaves. Come on, man. Come on. But I understand what you mean. I get your point.
Okay,
let's just skip the slavery part.
Right.
That's a bad.
It is. No, it is. No, it's not. It's not legit.
Wait, hold on. No, stop.
Just because you can't like.
No, because
but
I'm not.
Say that, show me where you saw that. If you want to say, show me where you saw that.
And look, man. I'm not trying to mislead anybody. What I'm trying to get at, what I'm saying. Let's not even talk about the numbers, okay? Let's get into it. Say you saw a slave, right? We got into a time machine. We went back there to Georgia, in the savannas, and you saw a slave, and he's in tattered clothes. And you see whips on his back. His shirt's torn. He's bleeding. His pants are down because he just got raped too. And we're looking at this. And then he takes himself and then just walks off the side of a cliff.
Okay.
Could you understand that situation? Yeah. You would be able to say, yo.
Yeah, I could understand the situation because I've never been raped and beat. So, I could understand that
I'm not talking about you, all right?
You just said.
Well, I'm saying if you saw this person jump,
empathize with him.
Right.
Like, he must be
because we have it is
a fucked up situation.
Mike, why? Because we have something to lose. We know what it's like to have.
Please
something.
let me finish this.
Please
listen to what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
We got in a time machine.
Right.
We saw a black man sitting there. This guy. Okay, he jumps off the cliff.
Sure.
I'm going to be able to look at this person's situation like, damn, bro. I can understand. I can understand why you would. You've just been violated in every way, and I can see why you would jump off this cliff.
Okay.
Right. Then you have a transgender person where it's almost like everything's been normalized, right? You can't really say anything bad about them. They're not getting whipped.
You can't say shit bad in public or on TV.
Right.
But at school and in the class, on the streets, they getting fucking dogged out.
Yeah, kids get away with saying whatever the fuck they want.
You know, I got high school kids. My son's in high school. I guarantee you, there's gay people getting fucking beat the fuck up or talked about.
I'm talking about right.
Shit.
But what I'm saying is, like, what I'm talking about, even being teased.
But there's the psychological mindset.
Poor kids get teased as well.
Yeah, but they ain't killing themselves. I get it.
But there's a lot of people that, what I'm saying, this transgender person is basically, why would you feel the need to kill yourself when I can look at this person's situation, this slave that had all this shit done to them and they're doing it, and then you have a high rate of transgenders doing it. That tells you something that's wrong in this society. Then you normalize it.
Go ahead. Sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to jump in.
Okay.
I didn't mean to bring.
All right, that's where we at. All right.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying is it's being normalized. So back what I was saying was it's not that I think at this point in time when it comes to transgenders and the way that we perceive them being accepted by women, I don't think it's actually true to that degree. I think it's because it seems like a liberal and cool thing to do. They appear like they are. I don't think that they are to some degree. Because if it was true,
I've never seen or been around a transgender
that we know of
personally.
Right. That we know of.
I've seen, like you've seen them, but I've never had a conversation with one, so I have no first-hand experience with a transgender person to know what they feel. Or what
so you never seen a transgender person?
I've seen them, but I've never held a conversation. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Where if you talk to somebody and you get a feel for what the fuck they go through. I don't understand. I've never had that conversation, so I don't know the shit that they're going through.
Right. So I'm saying, like, when it comes to women, I don't think they're really accepting them the way we perceiving it as they're accepting them. I think it's more like they're non-threatening. They're part of the group. They're I'm gonna say pretending to be. They feel that they are a woman. Mm-hmm. There's no threat, and I look cool for doing it. It's a cool thing to do without actually addressing the fact that you are going to resent this person.
So you're saying their acceptance
is not
of
real.
The transgender
is only conditional.
Boosts their social
until
makes them a shallow person.
Right. And what I'm saying is,
you're saying women that accept transgenders are shallow
people.
Yes, I think it's bullshit. Because truth of the matter, think about this.
And you're entitled to that.
What about men who accept transgenders?
Wait, hold on. They just want to stick their dick into something. We just had this conversation.
No.
Now,
men that accept transgender men, like, hey, I know you're a transgender man, but
like a woman that's being a man.
Hey,
either
baby,
or.
I know you're Bob now, but yeah.
Well, because the truth of the matter is a sexual threat. There's no threat to us.
Hey, there's no threat.
But there's no
pressure.
Threat to
a woman either.
But there's no pressure on you either. Let's be real. If you're talking to a woman and it has nothing to do with business or anything else, in the back of your mind, what is it that you're basically trying to perceive? Like, what are you trying to get out of that conversation?
Yeah, even if you're talking business sometimes.
What are you trying to get at the end of that?
No, I understand that you want the payoff.
You trying to get that at the end of any conversation.
With a woman.
Business, personal, doesn't matter.
Right, but if you're talking to a dude, there's no threat there. There's no threat of your ego being crushed by this person rejecting you, even though it's the opposite sex. What I'm saying is,
because you look at him like the white boy from the block.
Exactly. But when it comes to
just
women,
like
though,
women look at the transsexual.
Women's lives are way more complicated. What we talked about before. Women have to have babies. They go through menstrual cycles. Things that are unpleasant.
So you're saying we're women resent transgender women for trying to play the role of a woman,
and if
when it gets to that,
they only accept them due to their own shallowness.
Yes, it's conditional. Because let this person talk about something like, "Oh, I got cramps." Let's just imagine a transgender telling a woman that actually has cramps, like, "Yo, I got cramps," or "I'm trying to have." It's hard being a transgender. It's like, yo, wait, you're talking about how rough it is for you being a woman. There's a lot of other things that women have to go through. Not only that, though, a woman has to think about
also equal pay. If you become a transgender woman, do you lose your money?
Equal
like
pay?
If you were a CEO or CFO, whatever, like if you're somewhere up on the board of directors,
and you become
Caitlyn Jenner, do you lose money when you go to another job? And even though they knew you used to be a man?
Wage gap is false. It's not real. Wage gap is not real.
Mike, you believe slave suicide, but you don't believe wage gap.
It's not real. Okay. Where have you ever worked where you were looking at somebody else's paycheck that was a woman doing the same job as you and like, oh, you get paid $5 an hour? That's crazy. I get $7. You'll never see that. They have laws in place to where a person can sue if that ever happens. The only reason you have women more men in CEO position or get paid more because women are way more okay with what they're given. What I'm saying is men are way more argumentative. more likely you'll have a man walk into an interview and say, I deserve this. And we'll be able to negotiate. Women are more softer to that approach. It's like, I got the job, I'm getting paid, it's good enough for my kids or my situation, and that's it. Men are the ones that are basically going in there. Women are not as competitive as men. So when you see the wage gaps in those positions, and they're negotiated by two different sexes with two different ideologies, the wage gap outside of that does not exist. Because if somebody was getting paid differently for another job or something, you could sue and actually win. There's laws on there where everybody, like,
You can sue, but we don't know about winning. The whole process of suing, Mike, is it's an all or nothing gamble. Because if you sue somebody for whatever it is, it can be open and shut.
No,
if you sue somebody and they have bigger pockets than you, they can keep you during that, going through that process until you have drained
all your fucking
everything,
means.
and then they win,
I
and they never have to settle.
I want to talk about service connection.
No, I'm talking
Right.
about everything, Mike.
Do you know what you're doing when you're doing that? When you apply for benefits, you are suing the government to make you whole again through money. So I give you this percentage for this condition, I'll give you this much money. You are literally taking from the you are literally, when you ever put a claim in, you are literally suing the government to make you whole again.
Yeah,
So
and
lawsuits,
how many people actually get that claim?
Right.
It's not an everybody gets what they deserve to get type of thing, is it?
Right.
right?
No, fucking ain't.
But they
Good.
they also have appeal
Just,
processes,
and that shit get drug out.
right?
Right. And let me
There's a guy
hold on
that
real
I
quick.
work with now that's fucking with a claim from 10 years ago.
Right, but let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this question though, Mike.
It's still there though.
Let me ask you this: when you put in,
All right, yeah.
but check it out.
He getting paid.
But let me ask you this question:
He should be.
How much does it cost you to file a claim? I'm waiting. I'm waiting for this number.
A lot.
I'm waiting for this number. How much does it cost you to file a claim?
A lot.
How much does it cost you to file a claim?
20 years of your time.
How much does it cost you to file a claim?
Tw-
Okay, so what? Oh, hold on. So you're telling me that 20 years equals like money or something, right? So time
Yeah.
can equal money.
yes.
So pregnancy can equal 18 years of pay? Thank you. I appreciate you coming back to me. But let me ask this question. But let me
son
hold on.
of
No.
a bitch.
Hold on,
Hey,
Mike.
yo.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on, Mike. We just started. But what I'm telling you is asking for serving your country, whatever, and then filing an appeal because a percentage of your body has been taken away or your earning power has been taken away is different than suing a company where you were employed or whatever for unequal wages. That's different because the company, like I said, they can bleed you dry. Cool, you want to take us to court? That's fine. We got 20 lawyers on staff. You may be able to afford one. And even those 20 lawyers know your one lawyer is going to eventually, after he bleeds you, that's it, because the lawyers are all in this together with it.
Right.
You know, so that one lawyer is trying to tell them 20 lawyers, just please, we need to settle. We need to get something. We need to get something. And those 20 lawyers are going to be like, nah, we don't all agree on that. So it's just going to keep going, and the company's going to keep paying them, and then you're not going to win.
Right. What I'm saying is, though, Equal Opportunity Act. Equal Employment Opportunity.
Right, just like Equal Housing Act and this and that, but people
Right.
still get put in the
Right.
hood when they don't.
If
when they
you
shouldn't deserve it.
violate that and it's black and white, there is no long, drawn out courts. You violate
it is.
Sometimes you gotta know.
That's the game,
Right.
Most people don't know what somebody else is getting into there.
But the truth of the matter is, when you
because it's illegal to disclose
unless
that.
what I'm saying is, unless you're actually working for a firm or you're being your own boss or some shit like that, most companies you work for, when you applied for it, it gave you how much they're willing to pay you for an hour.
Pay scale.
Right. So
Right.
if I went into there and they said $19 an hour, and I go in there like, look, man, look at my resume and look what I can do. I want 21, and he agrees to it. Okay, I get to 21. Now, say the woman goes in. Women are way more agreeable than men by nature. So if she goes in there for the $19 an hour and she says, well, okay, $19 an hour, I'll take that $19 an hour. And then you go back outside like, wait, you get 21? He fought for the $2 extra. You didn't. Now all of a sudden you can now use an argument as
Okay,
if
but let me ask you this.
that's great. There's no such thing as a wage gap.
There
Yes,
is,
yes.
Mike.
There
is.
isn't.
If the person you're going to who's offering you this job
Word up.
is a man and they're would you agree that there are sexist men out there in high positions?
Absolutely.
Okay, so would it be inconceivable to believe that a man who's in a position could control how much that woman is going to get?
Right.
So if she could deny it if she wants to, but then what if nobody else is trying to give you what you want? You still negotiating, but you can't get nothing. At some point, you got to settle for what the fuck they're giving you.
Right.
But this same sexist male could also, hey, Tom, nice to meet you. You want this? Okay, here you go.
Yep.
Right. No.
There are certain circumstances where you can't.
That's
You
that
can't-
boys
you
club.
can't
Right.
negotiate.
And I truly believe in that.
So that's where the gap comes in.
Right. But once again, though, if he does that, right,
And you have to find it.
you still have to accept it. You still accepted it. You can't. That's your interest.
Or live on the street. Like,
Mike.
take this check.
You can't.
or
What I'm
starve.
saying is, what?
You got kids to feed because the motherfucker that fucked you and left you with babies.
Right.
Now you got to damn either take this job or keep trying to fight for money that you ain't gonna get. What's gonna happen?
I'm going to settle for this.
Exactly.
And Mike,
And
you
here
got,
comes the pay gap.
right, and you also realize,
Is there
Mike,
a choice in
there's
that
also
matter?
a
You don't
choice.
have a choice. You either work or you
I'm giving you a
starve.
job, and I'm responsible for what you did with your life prior to you
No,
getting
I'm not-
it.
I'm talking
I
about
didn't
the
tell
kids
you
have
to
nothing to
drop
do. I
off
just
two
threw that in there.
children. I didn't
But
tell.
I'm saying a single woman, 25, college graduate.
Right.
A single male, 25, college graduate. If the hiring official is more prone towards men, he's not going to be in. There's nothing to drive him to want to give her what she's asking for.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas the guy, he's more inclined to say, "Okay, I'll give you what you want."
No, that happens.
But
But
Mike,
to a degree in which we're
No.
taling about, what I'm trying to get at is
I'm not
in
saying it happens
those
every situation,
right.
but
But I'm
it
saying
does
in
happen.
those positions
Right.
in which you're talking about, you're talking about positions of negotiation.
Which is what you just said.
Majority, right?
Women don't negotiate.
Which they don't. They don't.
Okay, that's
right,
the
but
thing.
Mike,
But, right,
but Mike,
and you're saying if a man's like, oh wait, yeah, you're a woman,
There's a
and I
point.
still
Not,
don't.
not every woman doesn't go into negotiate. There's women that go in that will negotiate their salary, but they won't get it.
Right, because of their being a woman.
no, exactly.
Right,
That's
right.
Mike. You just proved the
Right.
It's
point.
the pay scale.
Wait.
There's the gap right there. A woman
Two-
who the hiring official
Right.
will not give
Okay,
the money
when we
to.
say wage gap, when we use that term wage, and there's also that same male that also don't like niggas.
Yeah, it happens.
Exactly.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
all right.
Right, because here's the deal,
And
Mike.
don't be a black
But we're
woman.
not talking about wage gap.
And then you still
We've
not
never
getting money.
spoke about wage gaps between men and black and white. We don't
We
talk about
have.
that.
Yeah, we do that too.
We
I'm
have,
talking
Mike.
about that as well. I'm not talking about
Why, Mike?
white
But
women,
think
black
about
women.
it. Why? Because most time, just like you said with women, most time companies understand that when a minority gets hired in a position, especially a higher ranking position,
They're not
they're
gonna
not going to
nego-
make waves because
They
they're
don't want to lose
they're
their
happy just to have the job. Versus a white guy feels entitled to the job, so they'll ask for more.
Whose fault is that?
It's the whole thing. Plus, also you got to think like this, Mike. If I'm a CEO,
So is it the black man's fault or the indigenous man's fault?
Let me
that
ask
he
you
can't
something.
ask for more money?
How many McDonald's are there?
There's a whole ass load of them. Why?
How many law firms? Would you say there's more McDonald's that are
Yes, I
here
would.
than law firms, right? In law firms, you would, in a lot of cases, as a lawyer, you would have to negotiate your salary. Okay. In military, in social services jobs, I'm talking about in majority of most jobs in this country, there is a set pay scale. Period. There's a set period
Right.
in most of them.
in a lot of them, yes.
In majority, I'm gonna say 90%. So what I'm trying to get at is, if we both, like, I'm all for a woman saying, "Hey, wait, he gets $10 an hour for the job I'm doing for $10 an hour." That doesn't happen because the truth of the matter is, most of the time that pay's already set in majority of most jobs.
You know where it does come into play? When your raise comes in.
Right.
Right.
That dude can get a higher raise than you.
Plus, Mike, you got
Even
to
though you do the same job.
Mike, the way
And
people,
that's
the
where
way
the
people
equal-
work.
Right. But if I'm a woman and this man is got a raise and I didn't.
Oh, you get a raise, you just don't get as much.
Or even that. But then let's compare the sheet of work. Now, if this woman can put both their sheets of work, hers and his experience and hers, and she outranks him, she should, and they have laws to where she can now prove that I deserved it and they discriminated against me. But if you have a man back at it, it don't exist, okay?
Mike.
You guys have this liberal mindset, man.
Mike,
Like,
it has
and this
nothing-
is what's
It has
ruining.
nothing to do with liberal. Mike, look, I'm just gonna break it down like this real quick.
Please
This
break
is-
it down, Doctor.
This is how it works.
All right.
if I'm a CEO as a company at a company that's successful, or anything that's successful, any organization that's successful, most of the time, not 100 out of 100, but 90. Well, I'll say 60 out of 100. The CEO or whoever's on top will promote someone else to replace them that's the closest to them. You see what I'm saying? So if it's a white man, he's looking for a white man to take his position.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
No.
So that doesn't matter how many qualified females are in the chain. That white male
Could actually
who looks
be-
like the head white male is going to be the fast tracker to the top.
Right.
Just like the same thing with police brutality and shit. If a cop doesn't see you as them, then you could be considered a threat and could be killed. It's all about someone seeing reflection in themselves in you. You know,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Makes you more comfortable.
And it's the same thing.
Same way
If the company is successful, it's because as a man, this is what I'm doing.
Right.
So if I have a male and a female coming up the chain, unless this woman blows this dude out the water and he fucks up, most likely he's going to be where I'm sitting
and
one
what
day.
I'm saying is, you're
That's
talking
legit,
about
though.
almost independently ran companies where the actual CEO has a choice on its board members, the people that are his attorneys, and all these other things. We're not when the wage gap, they talk about the wage gap, they're talking about regular jobs, everyday people that go to work.
Yeah, fast food to retail.
There's no pay. Well, there's no wage
But it's
gap.
not necessarily. But see, that's the thing.
That's what I'm saying,
You have to
though.
also look at part of the wage gap is hiring gap too, Mike.
Woody, when I see you walking
Hiring
out,
gap
once
is
I
the
see
same.
a picture of you on Wall Street in one of them tight ass suits and a briefcase, I'm saying, hey Woody, man, there's a wage gap in this motherfucker. I can understand
Mike,
it.
hiring gap. If two people get hired for one, if there's three positions and there's two males and one female, and the higher of the three positions always goes to a male. That's part of the wage gap, Mike, because you had three qualified individuals and you purposely hired the male for the higher paying position.
Right. But truth of the matter, there are laws in set. If I can prove as a female that I basically have more
But how do you
experience,
prove that?
Like, there's a lot of laws that are out there that don't fucking matter.
affirmative action. So you're saying affirmative action don't
I'm
matter?
saying there's a lot of shit out
Equal
there
opportunity
that does
act
not
don't
matter.
work.
There's a lot of laws that are out there, and people still do what the fuck they want to do. If laws made a difference, nobody would die, nobody would steal shit, nobody would fucking embezzle. None of this shit would happen.
Right, and Mike, there's one thing about laws that
You
I
have
said a
all the
while
laws
back.
you want.
One thing about
Civil
laws,
Rights Act, fucking law, ain't it?
Yeah.
Niggas was still getting lynched.
Yeah.
So what the fuck did it do? Well, it helps, but it still does not stop people.
Yes, it did
from-
help.
It does. Yeah, I say it didn't help, but it doesn't stop people from doing what
ill
they want
shit.
to do.
Right, but when you're in the light like this, I'm talking about especially now.
Because you're saying, you're
right,
saying
because
the
you have a-
laws they can sue. Okay, well, a lot of them ain't gonna do it
Right.
Why?
because they don't stand a chance to win.
You got to have capital to be able to sue.
Exactly. That's that victim mentality. This is crazy to me.
It's not a
You know
victim
what, though?
mentality,
It
Mike.
is victim
No, it's
mentality.
not.
It is. It's a victim mentality.
It's
That's what I'm
not.
saying. Y'all got Negroes still in your brain.
Okay, so when
I'm
you
gonna get that shit
so
the
when
fuck
you
out.
appealed,
Hold on.
so when you appealed, were you using the victim mentality?
When I said this is not fair, and I have proof and actual
Were you-
documentation
so were you using the victim
through
mentality?
the law, that's not mentality. That's me
Yeah, it was
using
because
words.
you were a victim of something, right? You
No.
were a victim of
I
wrongdoing,
wasn't-
and you had to right the wrong.
Exactly. You're right.
That's
Yes,
the same
you're right.
thing.
You're right. You're right.
So there's no victim. So we all have the victim
And once
mentality.
again, though, I
We
used the
all
letter
do.
of the law
Right, but you
to
were a
make
victim.
myself whole.
Right, but you were a victim, right?
Right. So it
There
happened.
you go.
Right. But what I'm saying is there's measures in the system to you can actually utilize to make it balance
So when
out.
you're a victim, you need to do what you can to not be a victim.
Not only that, though, you open the doors for other people where they don't have to act. Like the young woman that, in Congress that was victimized by the black congressman. It was huge. I'm sorry. It wasn't Marion Barry. It was another brother with like these turtle glasses.
Years ago.
Years ago. What I'm saying is
You talking about Clarence Thomas?
exactly Clarence
Anita Hill? Yeah.
Anita Hill. And what I'm saying is, she actually had to go through some ill shit, right? That was embarrassing and everything to her,
Yeah, yeah.
which influenced many laws about sexism in workplaces and to that degree. What I'm saying is, though, sometimes let's be real, eggs got to be cracked to make an omelet.
And yet we have the Me Too movement now because that what Anita Hill did really it worked.
So what I'm saying, exactly. So what I am saying now is, in this day and age,
sarcastic as fuck, right?
I don't care what you was, but I was going to use that, and I ain't think you're going to actually call me on that though.
Well, what
I'm
basically
saying
it is what it is. It is what it is. Take what you got. Take what you can get.
No,
and
no,
shut
no.
up
Fight
and
for
be
what
happy.
you think you deserve.
Yeah, you
Fight
should
for,
do that.
You should fight for what you think you deserve. But you can't be just basing on the fact that I have a vagina and because of this, I think I should get just as much as the next man.
It should be a level playing field. But
take the
the
sexes out
most
of it.
qualified person should get what they get.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Point blank period. But it should be at the very
And
from
we
the jump.
live,
It
and
should
we
be
live in
even.
we live in a society of biases where people don't base it on that. You're right. There's going to be a white person you have to encounter that's like, oh yeah, even though you're way more qualified than this white person looks like me. I feel comfortable with him.
There is a dude that works in the office next to me. I swear to God, every time I hear this motherfucker talk, hey sir, how you doing? I had some damn good sauce the other day. I was like, wait a minute. But then when I walk in there, hey man, how you doing?
Yo, what's popping, bro?
Yeah.
But it's almost like he got to do that so he gets that respect. Otherwise, they looking like because they don't even talk to me, but they love this dude.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. He's and what I'm in essence though, there's a lot of things that we don't talk about in this wage gap that is there that we can't really talk about. The fact that a woman actually starts dressing a certain way to get more attention from people, or like let's act like this didn't happen when we were in the military, where you saw some chick that did not want to work, but somehow start pulling out body appendages and parts and showing them off. So they didn't have to move. So what I'm saying is, it's not
Right.
just,
So if it works one way, it definitely works the other way, Mike. You got to understand.
that's what I'm saying though. But what I'm trying to get at is there's no such thing as a wage gap. Right. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna end it like this because we're off. There's no such thing as a wage gap. Okay. You guys have to accept it. I need y'all to do some.
Okay, so I accept that from you, but you have to accept from me. There's no such thing as statistics of slave suicide. Let's accept. We'll both accept this fallacy.
Nah, bro, I ain't doing it. Ain't no fallacy. What I just said was
both. No, it's both.
That's when you both agree to disagree and call it a day.
Yeah.
Yes, it, man. We done. Yeah, man.
But you know what?
Yo, if you hearing this, Google this shit. I'm on
Mike,
point
it doesn't
tonight.
matter. It doesn't matter who. It's one of those things. If there's no way we can substantiate any of that information, there's no way.
Based on the fact that you don't trust the white people that documented
No,
it.
it's just the fact that I don't trust who. Mike, there's no way they were keeping track of
During
that
that time.
There's no way at all.
You ever heard of Frederick Douglass?
Yeah.
You ever read some of his shit?
No, I don't read.
Oh yeah, that's a good cop out.
No, I just don't read.
So yeah, so with that being said, throw the Constitution out. Frederick Douglass's writings. Who else?
Mike, so you're telling me that
Underground Railroad didn't exist because
Frederick,
a white person made the
No,
book
I'm not
about it
saying
and a
that.
movie. Yeah, that's what you're saying,
Mike,
bro.
I'm talking
You
about
can't pick and
slaves.
choose what white people write.
Okay, let me ask you. Mike?
True
Let me
or
ask you.
false?
Let me ask you this: in the 1930s, how many dogs got put down because they weren't adopted?
They had adoptions down there. I mean, back there. I mean, I would think they'd be thinking about pestilence and famine, right?
Exactly.
And
They're not thinking about slaves, Mike. Slaves are there for one purpose, and that's to work.
they're probably just like you said.
Exactly.
Why would they hide a murder? Why would they give a fuck about
For you to
suicide?
find suicide, Mike.
Oh, I'm
there
about
has
to kill. I'm about to kill right now.
Go
I'm
ahead,
about to
but why do they
kill
care about
right.
suicide if they don't care about murder?
Exactly.
So your idea is basically, why would you even record those statistics based on the fact that these people were property?
Right.
Why can't they document both you black ass niggas back to slavery based on your great grandfather, right? Who he was married to, who he fucked, documented by white people. Why would they?
That's what they say, Mike. That's what they say. That shit's a myth too. Oh, you came from kings and that. Okay,
I'm not talking
good.
about that. I'm talking about back to slavery. We ain't talking about that. I'm talking about why can you? I've done
We
it.
can't.
Where I actually
How can you do that, Mike? Answer how you can do that.
your last name. Most black people's last name Johnson. All that
Came from what? The slave owner.
Exactly.
Mike.
So
How many
so
motherfuckers got
So
mixed
think about that.
up?
Think about that. My parent, my great great grandparents carried my last name through all these years.
When it was documented, Mike. You can't carry shit that you can't write. There's motherfuckers that have a lot of Hispanic American, Latin Americans that are here right now. If you look at their birth certificates and shit, there's like 16 different names because they've signed Gonzalez, they signed Hernandez, they signed whatever. Jamaican, same shit. Caribbean, same shit. African, same shit. A lot of it got mixed up, so you can't tell me that shit is down to an science. They know exactly where you came from. You can't tell me that shit.
Yeah, you know, a birth certificate is a receipt.
Right. You're right. But how many people don't have birth certificates?
Because I'm interested in what you're saying, because it account for the slave, the trade,
Right.
the sale of slaves, like
Right.
from this plantation to that plantation.
That has
the name
all
change.
been recorded, though. It has been recorded. This is crazy.
Right, that shit is
If
not
I believe
legit,
it's recorded,
man.
but the
It ain't
accuracy-
legit. All of it ain't recorded, man.
Right. That actually could be off, right? Okay. What I'm trying to get at is, let's stop focusing on the fact that I said suicidal slaves, okay? Let's focus.
That's legit,
Let's
Mike.
focus.
It's legit.
No, let's focus on the fact that, the thing about what I said, anecdotal. If you saw a slave in their condition and they jumped off a bridge,
You would empathize with
if you saw a transgender that's living in society where nobody can say shit to them,
them. You wouldn't.
it'd be like, why are you killing yourself? There's something wrong in both of you. You can see this wrong. You can't see this wrong. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying something is off about that situation that's causing that behavior. In this situation, we can see why that behavior would be caused. In this one, we don't. That's all I said, bro. Yo, I just dropped the mic on that
You
shit.
didn't. You really didn't. Mike. You had so many holes in that shit, man. So many holes, Mike.
It's what you perceive to be.
Exactly.
It's your perception of the
Right.
situation is what determines how you.
Yo, one day y'all gonna feel me, bro.
Nah, Mike.
Yo, y'all gonna feel me.
Not speaking like that. We're not. It's just like, it ain't gonna happen, bro. It ain't gonna happen.
Alright, no. You know what though? I enjoyed this. You know, yeah.
I enjoyed it too. I mean,
First 45 minutes that wasn't recorded was good too.
yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
I did too, Mike. I learned a lot more.
No, I know what you're thinking though. I can
No,
tell by
I'm not
your
thinking that.
condescending
No, not-
smile, like, oh yeah, I learned a lot more.
No, I'm
this
just,
nigga Mike.
No,
crazy.
Mike. I
No, bro,
learned that when you attach yourself to something that you believe, you run with it. That's the law. That's what everybody does. That's what everybody does. Both sides. Everyone does that, Mike. Everybody does that.
I no, we agree to disagree.
No, we
Everybody
actually
does
agree
that.
to agree.
No, we do.
People are always on one side or the other. Right. And they're going to go
What
wherever
would
they
be
go.
what would be my reasoning for looking up slave suicides? Like, I'm trying to prove a point. Like, what would be the?
I don't know what made you look it up.
I don't.
I honestly don't. Only you can answer that question.
Right.
Right. And the reason I looked it up was due to the fact that when you get this, I mean, at the time when I did look it up, it was based on the fact that I noticed that it was always kind of, it seemed like slaves were always put in this very strong through movies, shit like that. I think, and my mind is like, wait a minute, there's always a white guy saving them. There's always a big burly brother that's like, hey, I'm about to. And it's like, wait a minute, so it wasn't no depression. It wasn't like this is the most horrible situation you can go through. You have to sleep outside in elements.
It's relevant. You gotta be relevant to that shit.
Right.
Like if you go down somewhere in South America and tell them, what y'all doing sleeping outside? They're gonna be like, motherfucker,
And
what are you
honestly,
doing
it
sleeping
was
outside?
literally, I went to an art museum and it's weird. They don't have a movie about this slave part. They have movies about all kinds of other slave shit. But they literally used to actually play dodgeball with the heads of actually slaves. So they would actually remove the head, stitch up the eyes. I'm just thinking, like, if I'm a black person looking at all this carnage, my father's getting raped just to prove a point. The biggest black man would be raped. Like, in this environment, I have to literally get whipped every day, possibly raped, killed on
That's
the
all you
whim.
know. That's all
You're
you know.
watching people playing dodgeball with your brother's head. How do you maintain without not taking your own life? Like,
Because it's not different for you, Mike. It's not different. If I lived on the street right now tonight and I had to eat out the trash can and shit like that, that would fuck my mind up because I'm not used to that shit. But one last thing, I just want to throw one last thing on you real quick because I can't get over the slave shit. So I'm just gonna throw this, your whole documentation from hundreds of years ago.
right.
We worked in the United States Air Force, right?
Yes, we did.
We worked on multi-million-dollar aircraft, right?
Yes, we did.
We were in charge of documenting forms in logbooks or jackets, right?
Yeah, fire without
How
fire.
much of that shit is missing information, Mike? This is a multi-million-dollar aircraft that not only has a logbook and a jacket and a file folder and a computer backup system to document everything. And how much of that shit you couldn't trace back 20 years because the shit's fucked up?
I'm pretty sure it's quite.
This is a multi-million-dollar asset versus who gives a fuck slave.
So,
And you're telling me that hundreds of years ago, that shit is documented so well that we understand that shit versus this.
You talking about the value?
That right
okay.
there blows your argument out
hold
the
on.
water.
So you're
It's
saying,
over,
wait,
Mike.
hold on. Can I say
Done.
something?
It's
I got a
done.
rebuttal, real quick
Go ahead,
rebuttal.
rebuttal.
You're saying it's the value of the aircraft compared to the value of the slave.
Yes.
Do you know the basis of why America is the richest country in the world? You don't know?
Because they say it is.
No. We've seen
We produce the most gold.
we've seen them Sally Struthers commercials.
Sure.
Okay. Right
Okay.
now,
Okay. I'm waiting for your point.
what do you think America was built on? Now this is actually documented. Unpaid slave wages.
Okay.
So yeah, a slave back then was worth more than
No,
a
it
jet
wasn't.
now. It is.
Mike.
If America was built on the backs of slaves, meaning as in the reason we're the richest country in the world was due to free labor, why wouldn't you not document
Where's the log
your
books?
most prized possession?
Where's the logbooks of these slaves? Where's the logbook? I need to know.
I've
I need
seen
to,
one
I need to
before.
see like the pictures of these motherfuckers. Like, oh, this is my best worker. Yo, this old Jimbo, whatever.
Oh, so
I need to see that
so
shit.
you think this is about like
It ain't
trading
there.
cards or some shit? Yo,
Mike, how many
all right,
slave
you know what?
babies?
We're going to table this.
Are just
We're
gone.
going to table this conversation.
We gonna have to because you were lost
and,
with this.
and you know what?
Mike,
We're
it's
coming
over.
back. We are coming back.
Hopefully you can come back from this. After you listen to this shit, hopefully you can come back.
Oh no, I'm coming back. I'm gonna have my sources.
Mike,
All
you
right.
might have lost a fan tonight. I'm just gonna say that.
I don't give a damn who I lost.
Alright, cool.
Okay, yeah, right.
But no, that was a great discussion, Mike.
Yes, it was, man.
I always love chopping it up, man. I like your perspective that you bring. I respect it. You know, right
But
or
I
wrong,
will-
I respect it.
Now I will look at some shit just see try to.
Compare, at least, yeah. That's all I'm saying is if you don't believe what I'm saying right now, yo,
And that's what it is.
they gotta Google
Anytime
for
somebody
it.
say something, research.
Right. And
You keep talking out your ass and people will bite on this shit and then run with some dumb shit.
right.
I need to call up some folks at what's that base they went to in New Mexico? I don't even fucking remember now, but I'm gonna call somebody and say, hey man, what's some old 16s you got? What's the first job that has ever been worked on? They're like, motherfucker, we don't know. That shit's gone. That's a $1 million aircraft. Who gives a fuck?
right.
But yeah, we good. We
Yeah,
good. So, man, that was a good show.
I think it was great.
I'm gonna take care of it, put it up there, you know, let the fans, the listeners, I want to see what they say about it, you know. Right, good or bad, but once again, man, just you got another final.
Oh no, I'm good, man. I don't like the way you smiling right now.
I'm just saying, man. Vaughn, what you got, man? What you got, Vaughn?
Not much. Little Brother just dropped the album last Tuesday.
Yep.
Go get it. Listen to it. If you're into like, I don't know how you want to put
Wait,
it.
your brother?
Man, it's
Little
just,
Brother.
it's just straight hip hop, man.
Yeah.
Who's Little Brother?
Dope album. Check it
You
out.
guy from North Carolina?
Yeah, like Mike doesn't know, so he should listen to it and check it out.
You should.
Oh yeah,
The rest of y'all should check it out. Like, remember damn album title.
I love y'all. Yeah,
May the Lord watch.
Yeah, May the Lord Watch is the name of the album. Check it out.
May the Lord watch.
It's right along with the rest of the albums. It just keeps building, getting better.
Big Crit just dropped an album. Yeah, go check that out. You know,
Rhapsody dropped the
Rhapsody,
album.
good album, Rhapsody,
That's a
good
dope album.
Rhapsody fire. Eve ain't trying to listen to Eve. It's like DMX dropping out.
No. Rhapsody.
Name
Eve,
the album.
The name of the album.
Oh,
Yeah, ain't nobody listen to that. Man.
Oh, okay,
But I will say this. I will say Queen Latifah's on one of the songs with Rhapsody, and I kind of flushed Queen Latifah, but hey, the song that she did, I forgot the name of the song, but Queen Latifah went off.
Oh, Queen Latifah got some balls.
Queen Latifah
Will
went off.
Smith could always rap, man. It's just the acting took over.
Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah.
gotta wrap it up. If y'all stay with us this long, we appreciate it. You know, Just Us Show. If you like us, tell a friend. And if you hate us,
Tell every damn body you know.
Yo, keep it real.
we out.